Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
As always, I sure do.
I sure hope so. And we have a third as well, and also a fourth joining later. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So Saxon is currently at the grocery store waiting for curbside pickup that should have been over an hour ago. So here we are. But I'm joined with Vlad, so hi.
Howdy.
Yeah, we've got all three of you remote folks on the same little voice indicator dillabop in the top right of the video frame there, so you'll see that all under Tormod. And of course, I'm right here. You get to see my wonderful, wonderful and huge asterisks face, as always. But welcome everybody. I'm MrBond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Vlad.
There you go.
Welcome to insert credits. Round 78. Prepared for. ... Yeah, exactly. That was my impetus behind that name. So I was thinking about it yesterday. It's like prepared for, and then my brain froze up, and I was like, prepared for what? I don't know. We'll just leave it blank and let the mind wander a little bit. So, hooray!
Prepared for what?
Yeah, exactly. Prepared for who? Prepared for something like that.
Exactly.
Great. All right. Well, housekeeping. I think we have up through round 80 scheduled.
Yeah, let's actually have a look because my calendar is not open.
Yeah, mine is just open now. So, okay. May, we have the 8th for round 79. I think that is still good and proper, at least on my end, if you could confirm.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. It appears to be good. And it looks like in June we have the 12th.
Yep, that looks apparent to me. Did we do July? I think July is where things got kind of fuzzy and we decided not to even try.
Yeah, it's going to be weird this summer, so maybe we should hold off on those.
Okay, that is fair. We can do that maybe next time or maybe the time after that. Doesn't matter. We got 2 in the barrel. That's fine and good for now. Okay, housekeeping complete to much more quickly than previous times because we are prepared for something. But around the world, what's been happening? Something that happened not too long after our previous show. Weird rumors abound that Cooking Mama Cookstars for Switch was mining bitcoins and other cryptocurrency, causing overheating and shutdowns of your Nintendo Switch. Those turned out to be false.
Really?
That is not true at all. It made the rounds for a while, and people were getting real hot about it, which is, naturally unexpected. But apparently, and what I just read yesterday on this now, is that apparently the publisher, Planet Entertainment, was not authorized to release it by the developer, Office Create. So now the developer is suing the publisher. And it's real weird because it's on like some European retail channels, but not others, and it's not up for download anywhere, but you can get it elsewhere. And I don't know. It's just a weird cluster going on there, and nobody really knows what's going on. But we do know that it's not mining cryptocurrency, and we're not sure where the overheating rumors came from. So, yeah, that's weird things going on apparently this year.
Yeah, I'll say. Because they were sure convincing rumors.
They did sound very legit, didn't they?
I was a little perplexed as, well, of course I was reading the news beforehand because I wanted to make sure I didn't double up on yours. But yeah, that honestly took me by surprise that it was a rumor.
It's just very strange. Like I remember reading a few threads on the most accurate news source of Twitter, about it, and some of them were very adamant that this thing is mining cryptocurrency, it's overheating and shutting down, here's proof or whatever, videos and shit. And then it turns out the developer came out and was like, no, that's patently untrue, here's why, blah 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 blah. And then it's like, oh, okay, it turns out it's a rumor. But that was quashed rather strongly, and now it's a whole developer suing publisher thing. So I don't know which one is better, honestly, whether there's some cryptocurrency going on or whether there's a slap fight between the developer and the publisher.
I mean, I have to say the second one is more entertaining, at least.
That's true. That's true. Less, I don't know if it's less shady. Probably a slightly less shady, I would guess. So, because now this is out in the open. But what are you gonna do about it? But more shady stuff. Actually, shady stuff. Riot Games' new class-based shooter Valorant, which is only available in limited beta from Twitch drops of all places. So you have to be watching people who are playing Valorant to get a drop for a beta key for it. It's been discovered that that game uses a DRM system called Vanguard, which uses a kernel level / ring 0 driver for anti-cheat. Now, this isn't entirely unheard of. Other anti-cheats have certainly done kernel-ish level stuff to do anti-cheat. But it doesn't feel great. I don't know that I would install a game that demands kernel level permissions, which is full root, full admin, whatever you want to call it, to do anti-cheat. That seems extremely shady and extremely vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody on our NetSec to be like, okay, cool, here's the back door, go nuts.
Yeah. And of course, the claims from Riot Games is like, oh yeah, we take security seriously. It doesn't have any vulnerabilities, and even if there is one, we'll catch it within hours or something. It's like, yeah, okay, kind of
sure. I don't want to say that, hey, someone, you should go prove them wrong, but hey, someone should go prove them wrong.
Actually, someone should very well go prove them wrong, please. I'm going to be petty about this because that is a no-no. You do not get access to my kernel for a damn Vigi game. Anti-cheat or no. That is
right.
You don't get to do that.
But please don't be malicious about it.
No, don't be malicious. Don't hurt the players. I'm sure the vast majority of them are not aware of this going on, despite it being a pretty big brouhaha in the past few days. But yeah, don't hurt the players. Please just throw some mud at Riot Games, please. Like they are absolutely 100% deserving of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Riot Games, don't be dicks. Take that shit out. Like you get ring 2, maybe, not ring 0. F off. That's my ring. More cancellations and shutdowns because of the whole worldwide COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately. Indie Mega Booth has ceased all operations indefinitely because of what's going on. And that really sucks. I mean, all the shutdowns suck, let's be honest. But Indie Mega Booth, we're aware of. We've interacted with them several times on every PAX visit that we've done. Indie Mega Booth has been a huge thing. Very great event, very great setup, very great people, and it just breaks my heart to hear that they have to shutter stuff for this stuff. But
absolutely,
unfortunately, there's not really any other decisions that people can make because of this, and it sucks, but it's the right thing to do to keep people safe. So, Indie Mega Booth, our hearts are with you. Obviously, our hearts are with everybody affected by this because it's just a bad situation all around. Because of now. Maybe not, but sort of because of COVID-19, of course. Sony is reducing their PS5 production, citing cost and promotion issues. They've reduced their total production by 1 million units is the last number that I saw. Yeah, that's really significant. And I haven't read too many details about it, but the big citation is cost and promotion. But I couldn't really say anything else more either way about that one. All right, that's the extent of what I have for news. I tried to intentionally keep it short because usually our news tends to run long, and that's the easiest place to trim the fat.
Fair enough. I will start with my stuff, and I'll go into Saxon's stuff, and we'll end with Vlad. So,
oh boy,
Final Fantasy VII's remake finally released. Finally,
I get it.
Well-deserved fanfare.
Yeah, I get it.
Earning a Metacritic score of 88. As of this morning, at the very least, it's extremely positive response. I look forward to playing it. I have not yet actually grabbed my PS4 Pro into my office and moved it upstairs. I'm a little worried, though, because I've heard a PS4 firmware update lately has been breaking the Blu-ray drives, which the PS4 system itself does a check to see if the Blu-ray drive is functional as it boots, and if it isn't, it just doesn't.
Interesting.
So whether or not that is the case, I'm not sure, but there was a very active Reddit thread saying, well, my machine booted into safe mode, won't ever boot back into normal mode. It gets stuck in an update loop no matter how I want to update it, by USB, by safe mode, via the network, etc. So I might hold off until Sony does a whoopsie little firmware update past that to hopefully resolve that issue. And I'll just sit on the game as I have been for the last 5 years and wait on it a little longer.
So even if you wanted to play a digital-only game, if that Blu-ray drive isn't functioning, it just won't boot up.
Yeah, you can't even use it for, I don't know, media, anything, obviously playing Blu-rays and whatnot. But
Right. Yeah. But ew, that seems kind of disgusting.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, at least an Xbox will function when the disk drive is totally horked. So,
Right.
but whatever.
Point
Or,
Microsoft.
Nintendo.
Well, yeah, Nintendo with its
Yeah,
not having
it's
disk drives.
no
Well,
disk
I mean,
drive.
the Wii still worked if the disk
Oh, that's
drive
true.
was broken.
That's-
So
Yeah, that is true. Is you have a Wii with a broken disk drive.
I have 2 of them, in fact.
Ooh, nice. Well, speaking of consoles, though, inventories of pretty much everything are just absolutely cratered. Another FF7 pun. As COVID-19 drives high demand for home entertainment. I will make some recommendations, though. So, some websites like BrickSeek and Slick Deals, and some others. Good places and resources to go if you want to try to find something and view store stock. Mostly accurate. I ended up seeing that a Walmart that was about 30 minutes east of us ended up getting a shipment of Switches a couple days ago in the afternoon, and Saxon was able to go over there and snag 2 of them before they were all gone. So, hooray! Now all of us have a Switch, and we can all be degenerates together. So,
Well, you didn't need
excitement.
a Switch for that.
oh, I know, but you didn't need to ruin it. Come on.
Oh, I mean, come on. What are we if not joke ruiners?
Yeah, pretty much. So I recommend those sites. There's another out there for Best Buy, but Brixie can do Target, Walmart, and what's the last one? I don't remember, but it can do a couple of them. In addition to that, so sales of the Nintendo Switch, speaking of, and Animal Crossing: New Horizons, vaults Nintendo's stock to a 52-week high of $55.10 per share. It dropped a little bit today, but still excellent performance. With everybody just clamoring to buy things, it's pretty great. They seem to be totally sold out of their special edition consoles. Digital sales for New Horizons is extremely huge. Everybody's memeing on it. It's a good thing. Nintendo is releasing prompt patches for things that people find. Generally, a good dialogue with the player base, and everybody seems to be really happy with the game. So, haven't purchased it yet, have never actually played an Animal Crossing game, but I have a feeling that will change in good time. So, let's see here. Oh yeah, speaking of Animal Crossing again, China has banned the sale of it because, well, they're suspected of quelling social uprising through players' use of the design systems, where you can have like custom tiles and such, in the game to promote Hong Kong's liberation. So all of a sudden, just poof, no longer on the market.
Oh, that's gonna go over real well.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Yesterday, finally, I know we've talked about this at least twice in previous rounds here. Minecraft with RTX. The beta finally released for Windows 10 yesterday, Thursday, the 16th of April. And the night before that, on the 15th, NVIDIA released a new graphics driver, which will, of course, provide the game-ready experience as they do. So that is all ready. There is a link on NVIDIA's website to get a free copy of the beta. What happens past that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's based on the C# version or the Java version or what. But, whatever.
The C# version, I believe, because I was reading a little bit more about this too, that whatever version the Bedrock version is, which I believe is the Java version, was going to eventually see this as a free update as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
But the actual process to get it installed is, a process. You have to download certain files, stick them in a certain way, and you can't get it off of the Microsoft or Mojang site. You have to go to NVIDIA and get the texture packs and put them here and blah, 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 blah. So it's definitely not just download this thing and run it. It is download these other things and stick them in certain places.
Cool. It sounds just as jank as the original Minecraft mods.
Oh, sure is for now.
So, all right. Well, that's cool.
The before and after shots are real pretty, though. Like I was looking.
Yeah,
at a
no,
couple
they
of those.
are. I really liked lighting effects. I think it'd be really interesting to go into a dungeon with torchlight to see everything kind of do its thing. Yeah, I'd be excited to do that. I just installed the Windows Microsoft Store version today because for whatever reason I had a free copy of it, and I need to go on Mojang's site and see if somebody hacked my account again and re-download the actual Java version that most people play. So, okie dokie. Well, let's go on to Saxon's news here. Yes, the Intel Core i9-10900K has leaked its benchmarks with high hopes for overclocking, but the benchmark doesn't quite surpass the 3900X, which I actually have in this machine that I'm on right now. It does have a 20% improvement over the 9900K, which is, of course, nothing to sneeze at. But I sure do love watching Intel scramble and fail. It's so hot. AMD's latest 4000 series laptop APUs are just obliterating Intel's mobile lineup. Big shock. As they've started introducing now a new maximum of 8 cores, 16 threads, 2 versions of a processor that supports that, one with more power than the other, given the TDP increase.
Dang.
It is a tasty, tasty boy.
So an octa-core mobile processor.
That still
not a
gets
phone
10
mobile
hours of battery
processor.
life.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, it's outstanding. It's based on the Zen 2 architecture that we see in the 3000 series desktop chips. I love it. This is real great. All of those laptops are starting to release now. Tons and tons of resources there. Oh, you can go ahead and check out that list of resources at https://www.techradar.com/news/AMD-Ryzen-4000.
Oh my
You can
goodness.
see the whole list of SKUs for all the laptops that are releasing and a list of reviews. All of the big names have reviews of the Asus G14 and the G15 and the G17, and they're all just like, holy crap, Intel, you got owned. So it's exciting to see, so go ahead and check out some reviews. I'm sure you can Google it.
Well,
Samsung. Oh, go ahead.
good. I'm kind of in the market for an actual laptop soon, so that will
Yeah.
be nice to be examining and researching then.
Absolutely, and supposedly Linux has better support for the Radeon APUs anyhow, so there you go.
Yeah, the open source support for the Radeon stuff isn't terrible. It's usually proprietary Radeon crap that's just ugh. For dedicated GPUs anyways. I think the internal embedded GPUs are a fair sight better than the dedicated Radeon offerings.
Fair enough. Back on other PC parts here, Samsung, also affected by COVID-19, has experienced shortages and has had to push 3 nanometer off to 2022. For a point of comparison, the Zen 3 architecture, I believe, no, Zen 3 is still going to be on 7 nanometer, isn't it? Zen 4 is going to be 5 nanometer, whichever. 5 nanometer is coming to desktop chips in the next 2 years. So real curious.
I know all this nanometer business is a numbers game, but that seems exceedingly low.
Yeah, I didn't write the note.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too. It's just like 3 Are we sure we're not like off by 4 there or something?
Quantum tunneling.
Bizarre.
Yeah, sure. Tiniest of nanotubes. But, oh dear.
Once
And
we
I'll
get to
take these
angstroms,
things.
I'll be excited.
Right.
Yeah, why not? Oh dear. Saxon is still waiting for any news on our groceries. This is amazingly terrible. All right.
Well,
Anyhow, well, I will continue pretending that I am Saxon. Production.
do the voice.
I can't.
Sorry.
I'm so
go
bad
on.
at voice. That's fine. Production for DDR5 memory is ramping up, with Samsung and Hynix being, of course, the primary vendors of those chips that all of the other OEMs will use for their own products.
It always feels like that goes too fast. I haven't even switched to DDR4 yet.
Yeah, well.
Ooh, you might want to upgrade soon.
Well, you're on AM3. No, you were on AM3 for a desktop.
I was on AM3 Plus, to be fair.
Oh,
but
okay. Yeah, I forgot. But yeah, you're on a desktop DDR3 that uses laptop DDR3.
I mean, it's good stuff, and you
It
can get
is.
it cheap, and it still performs well in
Yeah.
modern day.
You can get it cheap, but usually once the new gen comes out, that stuff starts getting more expensive, doesn't it?
Well, it's
Not
weird
really.
because, like, for a while there was definitely price gouging going on for DDR3, but it's settled quite a bit since.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the price hikes we were seeing with DDR3 was a couple years ago when there was just a general memory chip shortage for
Right.
everything, and DDR4 was through the roof as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember having to buy 64 gigs of RAM in that time, and oh god,
Yeah, oh
it was
God,
about
indeed.
$600. It was real great.
Yikes.
But yeah, it's about half that cost now. You can get some real solid 3600 CL 15 or 14 RAM for a halfway decent price these days. So if you want to do a build on DDR4, not not a bad time to do it, especially when all you have is time, cough, cough, because nobody actually does work when they're at home, cough, cough.
That is patently false because I surely do still work at home.
I'm making fun of the people saying, "Oh, it's got to be the best."
Right?
You could sit at home
Yeah.
all day and do absolutely nothing. Get paid for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works. That's not how
Uh-huh.
any of that works.
I mean, unless you're me, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's my
fair.
job. Because my job is weird. But
they
moving on.
were already having you do nothing while you were there, so
That's
it's
true.
not because
now
you're
I
at
get
home.
to be anxious at home.
Mhm.
But anyhow. Oh wow! I'm just gonna butcher this name. I don't play WoW, but
Good luck.
World of Warcraft Classic begins Phase 4 with Zul Garub, maybe, among other things, but no one really cares about those. I have no context on that one, so I'm hoping that Saxon will eventually get home so they could talk about World of Warcraft goodies.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either, so I'm gonna assume it's new old content that they're bringing over from World of Warcraft Classic before it was called World of Warcraft Classic.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably guess that. Yeah. Hooray.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, damn it. Now I have to.
You gotta. It's the
you
law.
gotta do it.
Waiting for it.
Da-da-da-da.
Go on.
There you go.
Aw, my chat break. That's all right.
I think your chat broke.
It did. Oh well. I'll trust that it was there, even though I could not see it.
So, yes,
I can see it, so
it is.
Okay.
I mean-
I will trust your word then.
Oh, darn. I heard the door make a noise and I was hoping it was Saxon, but apparently not. But apparently that Zul'Gurub, if I'm even remotely saying that correctly, is a new raid. So new raid content. Thank you, chat. So news from you.
Yeah. So getting down the list to me. Boy, yeah. Sorry, you got on the topic of PC hardware, and I was thinking about all that stuff. It's been an interesting few years for that, considering there was went straight from mining GPU price gouging to RAM price gouging, and then there was a lull, and now we're getting into the pandemic price gouging that is surely soon to come. But speaking of, you mentioned already, but Nintendo Switch retail stock, among other consoles, is basically nil. But according to Business Insider, it is likely to remain basically out of stock everywhere until late May or early June. So that situation is unlikely to change. However, there is some information that the Switch Lite is a little bit easier to find. GameStop is selling bundles, and it pops up a little more often other places.
Yeah, I've seen the turquoise color specifically in stock at Target quite a bit over on the side of town.
Right. And another interesting tidbit about the Switch that I was reading about on Digital Trends is the recently released 10.0.0 firmware update, which a particular vulnerability researcher looked into and tweeted about. Preliminary support added in this firmware release for a new hardware model, which appears that it may have a secondary display of sorts, to quote.
Yep.
So,
Secondary
yes, Switch.
display.
I mean,
what the hey-ho could that even be?
where
I'm
would
really
they put
hoping
it?
that it's like wireless to the docking station so that you can have kind of a DS setup with the second screen being the TV or something. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm not
I would
sure
go buy
how.
another Switch.
One of the potential things that was suggested is that they might release like a Wii U style gamepad controller with a screen or something like that. But I mean, it's anyone's guess. It would be exciting to see Nintendo do something with two screens again, since it's been a little while. But
absolutely. But you also reminded me now that we're talking about firmware version 10. System-wide OS level button remapping.
Oh yeah,
That was a huge feature. So yeah, That's going to be really
I-
great for speedrunners and accessibility needs and all sorts of things.
I can't think of any other console or handheld that I know of that you can just on a system level remap buttons. Granted, I'm not the most experienced with a wide variety of systems, but
I mean, yeah, fair, but I also can't think of anything that you could just go into the system settings and be like, I want these, and be done.
right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
closest I can come to that on a hardware level is the profiles on the Xbox Elite Controller Series 2. That's the best I got. It's where
right.
you can store 3 control profiles for it and switch them with a button, but that's
Gotcha.
certainly not a console-wide thing.
Right.
So actually, that's kind of interesting that you say that, though. Can you sync that controller to a different console and use those same profiles, or is that?
I believe that is on the controller itself,
Got it,
so
okay.
I think that is more or less possible.
Cool, yeah, because the last thing I remember storing on a actual controller were Mii's, so
Right? Yeah.
it's been a while.
Kind of on the other side of that, software-wise, I think the Steam controller profiles is probably the closest on the software side
Right.
of it.
But at that point, you're already on a PC to begin with.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
the world is your oyster. But
I mean, yeah.
and while we're on the topic of the Switch, real quick, you may have seen it on Reddit or other such places, but something bouncing around the internet right now, a user created a whole Imager thread documenting everything they did. They built a Switch from scratch with replacement parts for $200.
Hmm.
But apparently it took them over a month to
Oh.
locate and bid on all of the parts in order to assemble this Nintendo Switch from scratch. But they were able to successfully build a working console from piece by piece by piece. So
I really like
That's-
that your reaction to this has been the Simpsons roller coaster. That's good. Oh,
Oh,
that's bad.
that's bad.
Yep, exactly.
That's good.
So,
Well, it's not. It's an interesting thought experiment. I wonder if they're cobbled together Joy-Cons, assuming they built Joy-Cons as well.
yeah, I did not check that deep in the pictures to see whether they built the
well,
Joy-Cons or
I
just
do remember
bought them,
the
but
parts list having like the Joy-Con rails, but I'm pretty sure that's just where they attach to
Right,
their actual
right,
base.
right.
granted, I mean, I've taken apart Joy-Cons before to replace the actual analog joystick. They're not terribly complicated. I'm sure you could find all the replacement parts for them if you wanted to.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure that there is any Joy-Con shortage specifically. You can probably still get your hands on those relatively cheap.
I know Best Buy has the best set on sale right now. It's the 2 lime green ones, and oh gosh, are they pretty.
Right.
Lime green, huh?
Yeah, both left and right are lime green. It's a Best Buy exclusive, and they are pretty.
They sure are nice.
Yep, it's level 5 green. That's
Well,
exactly what I like.
But that's not lime green, though. Isn't level 5 green darker than lime green?
Well, it depended on your CRT back in the day.
I suppose. I don't know. I think of lime green as kind of like maybe a little bit brighter than Kelly green.
Yeah, okay.
Certainly brighter than forest green.
Well, this
but-
is definitely neon green.
But maybe not. Yeah.
so-
Okay. So not like a neon or a
It's very
lime,
green.
I guess.
Yeah. So okay, maybe it's just a radioactive lime that I'm talking about.
It's
Okay.
not chartreuse, but it's not dark either.
Very good. All right. I can visualize that as we're talking about the dozen or so variations of green that nobody in their right mind should be able to visualize.
Fair enough.
Right. So moving on from the Switch, another notable piece of gaming news: Rick May, the voice actor, notable for his roles as Peppy the Hare and the evil Andros in Star Fox 64, and also the soldier in Team Fortress 2, passed away from COVID-19 at the age of 79. He was in a nursing home recovering from a stroke when he contracted the disease, and passed away shortly thereafter. There's obviously been a lot of community support and remembrance going on. Obviously, very notable games that he was a part of. He also, get my notes here, also voice acted in a variety of other titles, including playing Genghis Khan in Age of Empires 2. So it's been interesting seeing the community react to that. Certainly, a lot of people thoroughly enjoyed the games that he played a part in. So it's disappointing for many. That being said, one one of those situations, the pandemic has certainly had some really widespread effects, and it's kind of some things hit closer to home for certain people than others, I suppose.
Yeah, it's wild to think of, these people are known for a certain subset of roles when obviously they've done so much other work in other games. Like,
Right, absolutely.
I wouldn't have known about Genghis Khan in Age of Empires 2 if you hadn't mentioned it, because I knew about Peppy Hare and I knew about Soldier from TF2. Those were the two that stuck out in
Right,
my
exactly.
mind. But they've obviously got such a wide range of other things that they do.
Yeah, and in particular, Rick May was also very active in theater, and at the time of his passing was a teaching theater in a school in the Seattle area. So
nice.
that was definitely a community he was passionate about as well.
Rock on.
Well, rip Rick May.
Absolutely.
And again, on the COVID topic, my last news item, the Folding at Home project, which some of you may be familiar with, certainly something that the gaming community has filled the niche of for some time, is basically it's a distributed computing project where users donate their computer's processing power to run scientific research simulations towards disease research. It's been around for quite some time, but it's gained a lot of notoriety since the COVID epidemic. I can speak words, sorry. Their network has, it's, I would say, more than doubled, but that would be a ridiculous understatement. I believe back in like the beginning of March, I was hearing figures along the lines of it had been 30,000 users, 300,000 users joined in February, and another 400,000 before mid-March. So the most recent news I have on that is that Folding at Home now has approximately 2.4 exaflops of processing power, which is combined total more than the top 500 supercomputers in the world put together.
Right.
That's awesome.
So there's a ludicrous amount of processing power being checked at this project right now.
So
personally,
to put that in perspective a little bit, we're used to hearing about GPUs having processing power on the order of teraflops, right?
right? Yeah.
This is 1 million times that.
Yeah,
Roughly.
and if I
In SLI.
look it up really quick because I don't remember off top of head, but IBM Summit, which I believe is still the fastest single supercomputer right now, is only capable of 200 petaflops.
Only.
So multiply that by about 10,000.
Right.
You've got your 2 exaflops right there.
Now, this being a distributed computing network, it is obviously not quite as efficient as a supercomputer itself, so that number isn't a direct one-to-one comparison necessarily, but it's still mind-blowing how much the community's rallied around this. A lot of companies that are not using their computing resources due to stay-at-home orders and that sort of thing are devoting resources to the project. I was personally folding on and off over the past several years, but up through February through the end of March, I was folding on my own personal gaming PC, and by like mid-February and for the next month after that, it was getting to the point where Folding at Home didn't have the servers to keep up with the amount of people that were trying to participate in the project. And so I just wasn't getting sent any work units from their servers most of the time. They've managed to, with the help of some financial and equipment donations, ramp that up quite a bit. So from what I understand, they're a little more stable now with distributing research, but they've already done some very promising research in locating potential treatments for the COVID-19 virus by studying the protein itself. So that's been really cool to keep up on. Among other things, yeah, I believe that's okay. Sorry, that was all I had on that one. I had another tab open. Didn't remember what it was for, as you do.
As one does. Yeah, I just as an interesting thought experiment, I am compelled to think about how much, like, this 2.4 exaflops obviously is huge. Like, I've got
Right.
no really good comparison in my mind as to how much that actually is. But I'm real curious, like, between the big three cloud providers, talking Azure, AWS, Google Cloud,
Right.
like 2.4 exaflops versus all of the servers that they control. I wonder how that stacks up.
Yeah, I remember hearing something a month or two ago about it might have been AWS, one of the major cloud providers, donating some resources to COVID research, but I don't believe that was through Folding at Home. It was its own
Right.
thing. But yeah, a lot of those major supercomputers have also been donating cycles to medical research in recent months.
Mhm.
So it's been definitely interesting to follow the how the high performance computing community is rallying around things.
And I would hate to be programming the concurrency on that. Oh.
Yeah.
Automatic scaling.
I do work with that now as part of my work, so I'd hate to actually be doing the low-level thread synchronization or whatever the massive garbage they have to deal with. Oof.
Yeah, I just keep thinking that, well, you're perfectly cut out for that job then, so have fun.
Well, I don't know about perfectly. All right, so
Yeah.
it sounds like that's it for our round of news here. Are we ready for some Toonskis then?
Heck yeah.
Sounds
All
about right.
We will start with Heart and Soul by Sir Nuts and Sidor from Final Fantasy VII.
And then a remix from Guild War 2's. Guild War 2's, nice. I put the plural on the wrong one. A remix from Guild Wars 2 entitled Stormbringer by Dusk.
And we'll end with Clockworks by Tune In with Chewie and Joni Fuller from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Okay, well, depending on who you ask, all we've had time for in the past, a month and a half, 2 months, is sitting at home and playing games. So I presume our lists are rather large to reflect that total inaccuracy.
Huh.
Okay.
I'm guessing no, and or yes, depending on which side of the equation you approach that from.
I mean, I've probably played a total of 2 hours of games, so there you go.
yeah,
Okay,
I don't know. I've done decent, all things considered, but I spent most of the past month moving around the country back and forth all over the place, which is a weird thing to be doing during a pandemic, but you got to do what you got to do.
It
So
surely is, and you surely do. So no judgment cast upon that.
Mhm.
did you want to go?
Yeah, why not? All right. So I played about 13 seconds of Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, to make sure it ran. And I'd probably say about a combined 2 hours of Final Fantasy 15, trying to stress the GPU overclock and the CPU overclock that we have going. Yeah, I have two 360 millimeter radiators sitting in my tiny little mid tower case right now, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, that was an enjoyable thing we got up to this week. Personally, I've been keeping up with playing Super Animal Royale here and there when I have time. That's been fun. I picked it up a couple months ago now, but it's a great just casual game to just hop on, play a few sets, and hop back off. So that's been a nice way to keep fresh. I had a chance to try out DDR now that I'm hanging out in the residence with the GDR machine. So that was entertaining. Played a little bit of Smash Ultimate. Still just working through the campaign and unlocking characters. Looking forward to getting back into that a little bit more. I was reasonably good at it a year or two ago and more or less stopped playing entirely because I did not own a Switch at the time. I also, this isn't super recent, but I started a game called Bastion. A friend of mine strongly recommended it to me and got it for me as a gift, so I've been meaning to play it. So I'm probably going to be working through that one in the next month or so.
That was the first of Supergiant Games' really good releases, as I recall.
I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I enjoyed what little I started to play.
All right. As for me, oh boy. So I am now done playing Noita, which is also includes heavy asterisks because I am still playing Noita, just not on stream anymore.
Right.
It is a game that will kick your teeth in and then smile at you and dare you to go again. And me being the horrendous idiot I am, I smile back, missing a few teeth, and say, "All right, fucker, let's go." And then promptly get my teeth kicked in again. But hey, that's how it goes with Noita sometimes. After that, I started up and finished, again, heavy asterisks, playing Savage Vessels, which was billed to me as the spiritual successor and heavily inspired by Teleglitch, which is another nice kind of survival horror-esque top-down twin stick procedurally generated game. Exceedingly interesting. The last session I did with it, I want to say about 5 minutes from the end, and then I got murdered. So I will be putting at least one more session into that at some unknown date in the future to finish it off so I can put it to bed for realsies. But for now, it's done as a regular stream game as well. But now I've started to pick up on Crosscode, which is to my eyes, a very large, more traditional action RPG game. I'm thinking on the scale of Chrono Trigger. At least it seems that way. I'm about 5 hours in and just started on the second area, and the world map is massive. So I don't know how many areas there are beyond that. It's a very good game though. It's like 16-bit plus graphics. I'd say again to make the Chrono Trigger comparison, like Chrono Trigger, but maybe double the pixel resolution for it. So it looks real nice. It's very pretty, very very strong design, very good artistics going on in there. The soundtrack is fantastic too, very chill and upbeat, and the battle scenes with it are amazing and cause you, well, not you, but caused me in particular to play very much more aggressively than I should. So I end up getting my ass beat on the regular. But that's just the sort of thing that happens with that game. But I'm having a good time with it. So I'm about 1 week in, and it's probably a good solid month and a half game for me, honestly. But we'll see. I have no idea where the end is. So it could be a month and a half, could be 2 months, could be less, could be more. I don't know. All I can say about it is I'm enjoying my time with it. It's a fantastic game.
So this is Crosscode?
Crosscode, yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna fire up Steam here and have a peek.
Yeah, it's
Because
really
that sounds kind of like it's my jam.
Speaking of,
it's $20. So I just what I've played so far, I'd say it's definitely worth the price of admission.
Sounds good to me.
I was looking at Savage Vessels when you were talking about it. It does also seem like a game I might try. So
yeah, it's very abrupt. It dumps you in unceremoniously, and it dumps you back to the menu equally unceremoniously. So just be ready for that if you
like any good roguelike, yeah.
Right? Like there's no fanfare when you die. You just kind of eat it. You watch yourself explode for a few seconds, and then it's back to menu to try it again. So that was a little sharp feeling to me at first, but then I was like, I can appreciate that they don't waste my time watching my corpse fly off into space. I can just get right back in the saddle and do it again.
Right. You don't have the 5-minute end cutscene with the credits and the sad music and the you died on the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, Dark Souls. I don't need to be rubbed in the mud when I'm already dead. Please. Thank you. But besides that, Shmup Book Club is still obviously in full swing. Zero Ranger finished up as our Q1 Shmup. A lot of fun. I'll probably still continue to go back to it just because it's a good game in general.
Sure.
But for April, we've started up with our monthly Gokujo Parodius. As you can probably tell from the name, that is a parody of Gradius amongst others. It's a heck of a game. We're playing the Japanese SNES port of it. It was originally released in arcade. So, boy, there are some Gradius mainstay characters that have questionable design choices in this one. Kind of disturbing. In a very silly sense. Obviously, I'm not 100% serious about it, but if you've ever wanted to see a Moai statue with big lips, Parodius has it. Probably shouldn't have it, but it has it. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's a game and a half, surely. And the new shmup for Q2 is Gwange. It's one of Cave's earlier titles. Very inscrutable as far as what scores what, as is evidenced by a very healthy back and forth in SPC chat about what gives you points and what doesn't, and what you should do to get the more points. And I don't know, we're still not 100% sure on a whole lot of things, but that's kind of part of the charm of playing new games every month and quarter. There's also Gradius 5, which is another quarterly, which I haven't picked up yet, but I might try to do that for next Thursday. And then, of course, my standard Assault Android Cactus every week on Sundays. Playing a mix of now Campaign Run Plus modes and also Infinity Drives. One thing I'd like to mention quickly that probably should have gone in around the world since it is an event, but I wasn't really 100% sure I wanted to bring it up until just now. Because we're not able to do our Extra Life charity thing, which should have started today, but then the whole pandemic thing happened. I'm instead going to do a little charity event of my own, focused around Assault Android Cactus. We'll have some physical prizes, and I'm being intentionally light and vague on details because some of these details have not yet firmed up, and I don't want to promise more than perhaps can ultimately be delivered in an effective fashion. But know that is coming up. It will be a multi-day event. It will include prizes. It will include probably questionable choices by myself, as one is wont to do, particularly that one being me. But that is coming up, and I will share absolutely more details as they become firmed up.
Awesome.
Did you want to go over Saxon's list since they're still not there?
Yeah, why not? Let's see here. Saxon, of course, is playing WoW Classic.
Wow.
Forever and ever and ever. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 for fun. DDR a lot. And Duke Nukem 2 routing for speedrunning.
I was about to say, is routing. I thought routing was a subtitle for it for some reason. Did they like release a content pack or?
Well, that would be impressive this many years later,
right?
But yeah.
Right?
Why not? But yeah, it appears to be what they are up to.
I think I've only ever seen maybe one speedrun of it. I don't know if that was at a GDQ or something else. But it was interesting as heck. There's a lot of weird physics things you can do with the kind of, sort of, not really 100% precise platforming.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, that covers all that 3.5 of us have been playing. So how about Toonski's bonus level 2 here?
All right, we will start with Flow State. There we are. I included an extra S. Would you look at that? Flow State Undercurrents by Emunator from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
And then a remix from Mega Man X entitled Kuwanga Banga by Pirate Crab.
And we end with Teandi by Black Ace from Kyoto Ninden Teandi.
Okay, I'm guessing Saxon still isn't around. Is that right?
Unfortunately, not.
Okay, that's fine. We will just leave their design for next time then. And they'll, I'm sure,
That sounds good.
appreciate a leg up on us for the next show in 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that said, would you like to go first, Tormod, or shall I?
I can go first.
All right, very
Let
good.
us have a look here. All right, the title of this game is Integration. It is a smorgasbord of different genres. We'll call it 3D puzzle platformer with a dungeon crawler aspect to it. It's a single-player game that you can play on keyboard and mouse or a controller. Your graphic style will be semi-realistic. I'm thinking of something akin to, are they temples? I don't. Whatever those shrines. There we are. The shrines in Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
That kind of thing. And that kind of aesthetic too is kind of what I'm looking at. Audio style being ambient, electronic, so on. Point of view, you can toggle between first and third person cameras based on what kind of thing you want to look at. Consider it like Mario 64, except it doesn't suck.
Oh, Mario 64 was good for its time.
The camera wasn't.
No, you're right. It wasn't.
Yeah, I mean the game is great, but yeah, I want to do better with the camera this time. So the story for this game, I kind of hemmed and hawed over how I wanted to do this because did it a few different ways. In a dazzled haze, you awaken, finding yourself locked in a tall room filled with futuristic technology. As you attempt to find your way out, you come across a dusty switch in the far corner of the room. With nothing better to try, you put your weight into actuating that switch, and a panel in the wall falls, revealing a peculiar slate, your first glimmer of hope at finding your way home. So you wake up in this room and you find a slate. Totally not Breath of the Wild like. But instead of going out into the open world and trying not to die and finding a bunch of weapons, you instead are actually in the base of a pyramid. And you need to find your way through all of these weird puzzles and contraptions and such, and make your way all the way up to the top, which is your escape. So, throughout the course of navigating the mazes of the game, the player must obtain different artifacts of different powers to control or manipulate distant objects in creative ways in order to traverse the mazes and uncover thrilling secrets. I had to write that like 90s box material there, so...
a few shades of Pathways into Darkness there, I'm noticing.
A little bit, yeah. Inventory, an incomplete data log. That is what your slate is. It is and you find, a growing list of artifacts throughout the course of exploration. Now, of course, you can, go the direct route or the speedrunner's route or whichever you want to call it, and miss out on a bunch of stuff. Or you can go and explore and find some very cool and unique things along the way to give yourself secondary, we'll say, solutions to puzzles and really kind of blow some of the stuff wide open based on what you find. Haven't quite figured out exactly what those things might be yet, but definitely a concept I would like to work with. Mechanics of the game. You use that incomplete data log to fill in the knowledge gaps and record your findings, and with the artifact tools you find, you navigate the many mazes and labyrinths that comprise the pyramid you find yourself in. And of course, again, your objective is to reach the very top to escape to safety.
Oh no. This sounds like La Milana a little bit. Oh no.
So, when do we get to watch you play LM2?
I already did.
Well, when do we get to watch you play the randomizer?
Oh, heck no. I'm not that masochistic. Not that masochistic.
For enough money, I don't know.
Well, yeah, if there's money involved, obviously that changes the calculus of the situation. But
I was going to say I should absolutely let Author Blues know, because he is attempting to route the La Milana 2 randomizer as to like, here are the crucial things that you should do first in order to maximize the amount of items and such that you find.
Yeah, I would definitely need like maybe a 75 or 80% guide before even considering that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. So I threw together a bunch of concepts from games that I remember growing up and games that I have wanted to play, as I still haven't played Batla, and things like that. But I wanted the concept of like, hey, you find this somewhat alien-like technology and you use it to manipulate this environment that you are unfamiliar with. and you start with tools you have zero concept of, and you learn to use them based on exploration. It's kind of like, I don't know, a toddler figuring out, like, maybe don't stick a fork in the wall and that kind of thing. So you're, instead of fit with like torches and hemp rope and things like that, you are with these bizarre and unfamiliar things that you, as a player, don't know what they are, of course, if you're playing it for the first time. So kind of the thing I was trying to focus on.
I'm getting some like shades of Mist from this.
Yeah,
another game that I had never played.
Ooh, that's really good. I would encourage picking up the DS port of it then. That one's really nice.
Okay. I will have to keep that in mind.
Or you can borrow it once the pandemic is lifted too, because I have a cartridge of that.
Nice.
It's one of the very few ones I bought whilst I was living in Minnesota for a couple summers.
Oh, sure.
And that burned a good week or so. I don't remember if I had to write anything down externally, because Myst was notorious for that very obtuse crap.
Yeah.
that you would have to either remember or somehow magically recall, especially if you were not playing it all in one go.
Yeah, that sure sounds like a Myst-like. Yeah.
Well, kind of on the opposite end of things, I usually don't go for huge, heavy adventure type things because I don't got the patience for that, except when I sit down and play them all the time. So take that as you will. My design involves a spy hunter-esque endless runner? Driver? Endless movement of some fit or form. Haven't yet decided what. But the key thing is you're always moving in some prescribed direction. Not quite on rails, as was my design last time, but always moving left to right or down to up to down, diagonally. You're always you always should make forward progress, because trying to make backward progress is going to end up in a game over very, very quickly. So not quite on rails, free movement on a given path, but always want to make progress in a forward direction, whatever forward happens to be. Along the way, you'll come across various branching routes, either 2 or 3 or 4 different paths that you can take. And each path that you take kind of morphs the terrain around you. You'll go from a standard road to a beach or to a jungle path or to something. It changes the aesthetics around you, changes the physicality of the terrain, changes what obstacles you might run into, changes the types of enemies that are after you, all that sort of thing. Then the ultimate big bad that's chasing you is this encroaching mass of something. You don't want to hang around too long to actually find out what that something is, obviously, because that's game over.
So it's like the ghost, perhaps, in Spelunky, that kind of thing?
A little bit, but perhaps a little bit less form than that, even.
Okay.
Just very amorphous and kind of terrifying.
Okay.
The scariest thing is really the thing that you can't see or make heads or tails of. At least in my experiences, I've been playing some certain games. Just like, oh crap, is that what I think it is? So, well, if I can see it, it's a little bit less frightening. But for this, it's really like you have no idea what it is, and you don't want to know what it is. You have some leeway to surf on quote unquote the edge of it. And you have a one-time use ability to boost forward from it to escape. So you can get a little bit in there, but you don't really want to hang around because you're just going to get engulfed and then it's game over. It gets faster and less affected by sudden turns or sudden changes in paths or routes as the run progresses. So you've got some time at the beginning to kind of mess around and experiment a little bit with what movements will help you the best. But as time goes on in the run, you want to be pretty quick and efficient and decisive in your movements to stay ahead of it. And that's kind of where the design trails off. Like there's a lot of freedom to kind of run with this, endless runner, to run with this, without really many specifics that I threw down, because honestly I whipped this up in a day and a half, and I was updating it during the show. So surprise,
totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I came up with my idea in 5 minutes this afternoon. So
see, there you go. See, sometimes off the cuff is what gets it done.
Well, it's weird because like initially my inspiration was like, I remember Vlad mentioning something about legs in a dream or something that I had last night. I was just like, okay, so what can I do with legs? And I have no idea how I ended up on this. But...
Well, I mean, legs, climbing, vertical movement, I don't know. It's sort of
I don't know. But, I mean, I guess that, sure.
You sound very, very confident in that answer.
I mean, I'm actually really excited for this game. So if y'all decide to make it, like, I think it would turn out pretty neat.
Yeah, I'll just get right on that since I have all this time sitting at home.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, see, this could actually give you some money in your time of need.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I am thankfully, very luckily, gainfully employed at the moment, so that's that will go on the back burner along with the stack of how many did we decide last time? Like 150 different designs we've had going throughout this entire thing.
At least, yeah.
Some ridiculous amount, and
oh, geez, yeah, because we made the at least 150 or more to see thing.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I'd say I'd wager a good like 95% of them are good. Like they're good.
Yeah.
Maybe not saleable necessarily, but certainly fun.
Yeah, I mean they aren't all shit posts.
Right. There's probably a couple in there that are deliberate shit posts, I would say.
I mean, shuffleboard heroes.
Oh yeah, I mean that was even before we had actually dedicated ad hoc design, right? Or was that like one of our very first ones? I don't even remember.
I think that was part of Seeking Infinity when we were trying to come up with game ideas for the genre we were talking about.
That very well could be. That might
Because
have
we
been
were
the
coming up with sports
one.
games. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Now that sounds
we were
familiar.
like, we aren't familiar with sports at all. Yeah.
You know, a shit post of a game for a sports genre sounds very on brand for us.
Yes. Yeah. That could be great, I guess.
Might have to
Should you ever
revisit.
decide to make a really lo-fi shuffleboard game where old people are attacking each other?
Sounds like we need to revisit that design doc.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we can actually text search in Google Drive. So, oh no,
Yep, sure
Dig
can.
it up somewhere. Yeah.
the only design that ever got fan art.
Oh no.
I think that's true. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we still have that somewhere too.
Oh, I hope we saved it.
Yeah, pretty sure we did.
It's
I'm
probably
excited now.
It's probably in Google Drive. Honestly, if
I mean,
if
it's
we
about
saved
as
it, it's
prolific
there.
as Mother Sword. So
Oh shoot, I almost have that on hand, but I'm not
almost
gonna bother.
okay.
Almost.
Well, you're gonna have to make yourself a soundboard at some point. Just saying.
I mean, I do have 101 keys in front of me that I could bind it to, so.
Nice.
Oh.
All right, I got nothing.
Did I find it? Oh no, I didn't find it. I'd opened up the wrong folder. I was gonna like very quickly slip. Oh, here it is. Here we go.
Mother Sword.
So stupid. You probably can't hear that on the other side of the Discord.
Nope.
Call, but
Nope.
it was good. It had all the reverb and everything, so that's funny.
I don't think it actually went out to stream either because I'm listening. Oh, never mind. I was listening
Yeah.
to stream
Okay.
earlier.
See, it's a little delayed, but Mother Sword is there.
Yep, there we go.
Goodness. That was back in. I even got it labeled. Round 29 was the
Round 29 was
genesis
the
of Mother Sword.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
All right,
50
Saxon, now
rounds.
that you're home, round 29 was when Mother Sword became a thing. And we are on 78 now. Just think of how
78,
much
yeah.
suffering you've done in that time.
Oh jeez.
Wait, was Mother Sword born out of suffering? Is that what it takes to get more shitpost audio for the show?
I mean, I think it was born out of my very rushed game design idea, pretty sure.
That very well could be.
Because, yeah, huh.
We've got some extra time here. We may as well look that up.
Yeah, why not?
Find
I'll
the
let you do
document.
that. Well, actually, I'll bring it up in the meantime here. But go ahead and start.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have it only broken out by year, so I'm gonna have to page back a little bit to whatever 29 was.
Oh boy.
I mean, can't you just search for the text round 29? Yep, there we go.
I could. That is the last one of 2015. Interesting.
I see it was last edited in December of 2019. Let's see here. Pardons for All was the name of that round. Okay. Oh, you were playing Spelunky and Galaxy, Nuclear Throne, Aloof Trousers. Yeah, okay. These are all games that we just downloaded last night again.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Mother Sword was your ad hoc design. That was the title of it.
Oh, yeah. I even put a blink tag around it. That's really great.
Thankfully, that doesn't work.
Wow. Huh. All right. Wow, this is really, huh. Wow. All right. You know what? I'm just going to go over this again.
Yeah,
It's been
do
some
it.
time.
Do it.
All right. So the title, it needs to be on some kind of e-ink because the title needs to blink on the box. Just saying. It was somehow a portmanteau, I guess, of me saying motherboard and CPU at the same time. It became blink tag Mother Sword. It is an adventure dance platformer with cool in italics,
Cool.
8-bit side-scrolling graphics, and rad in italics platforming puzzles to bring you from Motherboard to Blink Tag Mother Sword.
We'll dig up like 1998 Netscape Navigator to get the blink tag in
please
there.
Use your totally in italics and awesome in italics skills with a Z to collect power-ups, underlined, that give you such abilities as Dragon Daggers, Thunder Screams, Lightning Agility, and Cosmic Flame Strike.
Oh, good gravy.
Use your epic dancing prowess to woo enemies and absorb their life force. Defeat the man to win the right to Blink Tag Mother Sword.
So is it an object? Is it an event? Like, what is this Mother Sword?
I don't know.
Is it a feeling? Is it an emotion?
It's a wave file.
It is a wave file. That is right. It is a wave file.
That's the only solid I got there.
Oh man. Like it's used as many different parts of speech throughout this thing, and I think that kind of sells the whole shitpost of it, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, you want to just take a screen clip and post that somewhere, because it's I can't convey all of the lovely
formatting,
text formatting.
Yeah, the formatting makes
and
it.
the red squiggle under skills with a Z.
Oh, I don't see
Yes.
that because I think I turned spell check off because I got sick of mischecking, actual words.
Well, as Google spell check does.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, all right. That's
It was
a
exciting
blast,
to scream a bunch of words.
a
Nice.
blast from the end of what did I say? 2015.
Yeah, I
Yes, sir.
guess it doesn't
Good
have a date
lord.
in the notes, unfortunately,
It
but
does
that's
not.
fine.
But that would have been probably our December one if we were doing monthlies by then.
Sure.
So, like, what does the actual gameplay consist of?
You go from Motherboard to no.
Mother Sword.
No, I fudged it up. I double clicked it in my files instead of in VLC.
Mother Sword.
There we go.
Love it.
Screwed up the timing. I'm such an idiot. All right.
I mean, it happens to the best of us.
and
but-
slightly less best. So, okay, cool. All
We
right.
may have to go back to the recording of 29 and actually get how I presented it then. Dang.
I mean, we could do that. I think that's still part of the archive. So,
Should be.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna look that up.
Oh no. Oh heck. That is a WAV file, that's right.
Make sure if this was one of the ones I had to archive off because we were running out of space on the site at the time.
Oh yeah. And now space is like dirt cheap too.
Yeah. Ooh, almost got the right page. Oh no, that's up there. 18th of December was the particular date of the show. 18th of December, 2015. My goodness. Wow.
So yeah, we're gonna have to go back and actually scrabble through, as apparently that isn't the right verb, even though I insist it is.
It isn't?
What?
What else would you do to a WAV file besides scrabble through it?
That's what I said. But apparently Scrabble is a word that doesn't exist.
It sure as heck does. I use it too.
Like when I looked it up on the internet some time ago, I was just kind of like, I don't know. But whatever.
So, a quick search of the internet, telling my search engine to define Scrabble says verb to publish one's music listening habits to the internet via software in order to check when and how often certain songs are played.
Yeah, that is not what I
interesting.
learned it was.
And
But
per noun, it is a datum or the aggregate data collected by this means. There's also another verb definition: to waylay, kidnap, or steal.
Okay, I've been using the wrong word then.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm probably conflating it with scrubbing on, grabbing the little radio button, and moving it back and forth on the player. But,
Yeah,
that could
scrubbing is
be.
a thing.
Yeah.
But
I had
scrabbling
always
is not
called
a
it
thing.
scrabbling, and I'm so glad I'm not alone on that
Oh
one.
heck no. We've been using that for a while.
Yeah, we
Huh.
could be incorrect Wisconsinites together.
I might be thinking of the little dial thing. I think it's called a shuttle or something that you use to go back and forth in a timeline for like video editing or something. I think it's called a
Maybe.
shuttle, or I don't effing know.
Big old
apparently.
shrug.
Doesn't matter. Words mean what we use them to mean,
And that's true.
and they're all
As
made up
long
in some
as-
form.
people sort of understand the same definition. I mean,
Right?
And words are just a word.
Words are just a word. They're all made up.
Yeah. Oh dang! Now we're talking about like cultural things here and coming
Yeah,
together to form
we're-
meeting, and oh gosh.
we're
That-
gonna get into the whole like, how can we be real if mirrors aren't real?
Well,
things.
philosophy rambling has been a thing lately.
What do you mean
Yeah,
mirrors
right.
aren't real? It's a polished piece of silver. Of course
I
they
mean,
are.
you never know.
Well, it's a polished something. I don't know
Something, yeah, I
about
guess.
silver, but
It's popularly been silvered glass or whatever it is, right?
right.
Oh. You're asking the wrong person on that one.
I don't know. I've been staring at myself in a lot of silicone dyes recently. I've repasted like 6 different things this week.
Yup.
Fair, I
Fun
suppose.
times.
And my GPU runs at what, 50 degrees under full load now?
Yeah, with the fans not fully on. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if they had
Wow.
the fans on at 100%, it was running at
It
like
was
42.
like I think it was just barely hitting 50 under sustained loads.
Yeah.
Yeah, we water cooled his stream PC this week. It was good times.
Yeah, I tried an air cooler on the Ryzen 3900X the first time, and it's weird, and I'm pretty sure it ended up just being the fan curves being totally fucked up on it, but I threw an air cooler on the Threadripper 2 that I used to have in my stream PC because I needed a server CPU, and that's totally silent and fine, but we ended up moving things over to pure water cooling in this build. I have 2 360mm radiators in this tiny mid-tower case that's meant to fit inside my 19-inch wide rack, and they barely don't touch. And I needed to
They
use
kind
three.
of touch.
Well, okay, fine. They barely fit and touch, and I needed to use 3 thin fans, which I conveniently had on hand already from a previous build, so that I could actually wedge everything in there. But yeah, no, it runs the CPU cool. It runs the GPU cool.
It's quiet. It's
Yeah.
nice.
The CPU is at an all-core overclock of 4.3 gigahertz max. And what am I thinking here? What did we end up doing for the GPU core?
The GPU, I think the core was running at like plus 145 offset, which gets it up to like 2050, 2070 under load.
Nice.
And then it was 700 on the memory, I think.
Yeah, because 750 was just a little unstable.
Yeah, I mean, we were running into power limits more than anything because 20 series cards, but the thermals were totally fine.
So the next experiment, should we choose to do it, is flashing an alternate firmware on it that bumps the voltage maximum up, or the wattage maximum, I should say. So we will see. I've definitely actually seen solid 8 to 12 FPS improvement inside of some games already, and I'm like, huh, that's kind of neat. So, and that's at 4K 60 with a lot of stuff turned up. Oh, on 4K 60 is the target, I should say, but with a lot of visual effects turned up. So it's kind of neat to see. I never actually overclocked a GPU before, and, well, it was kind of terrifying looking at this chonky 2080 Ti with its huge cooler and everything, which is weird for a reference model from NVIDIA. But just having a PCB with a die on, I'm just like, oh god, this thing is tiny underneath everything.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the
just a
die size
board.
being twice the size of a 2080, but, whatever.
Well, twice and nothing is still nothing, you know?
I guess. But, yeah, no, it's been kind of a fun little experiment. I was opening things up earlier this week, and I was like, we should repaste things. I wonder what it would be to just get one of those AIO water cooling kits, and it was pretty cheap. Just $20 with this little NZXT thing that replaces the housing for the cooling, and you just slap an AIO Ace Tech pump on there without any of the brackets or anything, and it just goes boop right on top of the GPU die, and you mount the radiator, and you're good.
Yeah. You make it sound so easy.
I
It
mean, in
sounds
concept,
simple
it
in
is.
progress, in process,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. But I don't know. It's turned out pretty well so far. I'm excited to actually use it to play games. We, in the last 2 days, downloaded a terabyte of Steam games. It was the thing. And I actually had to pop in a second NVMe drive because I ran out of space for Windows.
God, well, what? I was gonna ask why, but then I had to stop myself. That's not worth it.
Because there's gigabit internet, and if we don't use it, it's not worth paying for.
Yes, but when are you ever going to play a terabyte of games at any given time that you would need a secondary drive to put more games on?
Oh, don't worry about it. You know, actually, they have 4 terabyte NVMe drives now. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
they're pricey as heck.
They're like $850, $750
Oh,
on sale.
jeez.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
And the only one I've seen right now, though, is the MrBond Rocket series. But I want to say that I'm using in this build. Let's actually take a look here.
Oh, you had the one Intel 600 something we just put in.
Yeah, that was the Intel 660p, which is a fantastic budget NVMe drive. You can usually get those for $85 for a terabyte when they're on sale.
Which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, it is kind of nuts. That's what I gave you to put in your box.
Yeah.
And come on, device manager, where are you at? I think my primary drive on this one is a MrBond. Yep, sure is. Yeah, it's a MrBond Rocket drive, and it has better benches than the Intel drive, and it was only like $5 more at the time. But yeah, no, everything has been super reliable with that one so far, so I'm really glad that I chose it. So I don't know if y'all want a bunch of space. They have 1, 2, and 4 terabyte models now, and obviously they get like logarithmically more expensive there. I wouldn't say exponentially because that'd be ridiculous, but yeah, $749 on sale for 4 terabytes. I think their 2 terabyte model is something like $265, maybe a little less.
Shit.
So yeah, good stuff.
Phew. Well, before we go into a second around the world here, it sounds like that's where we're headed. Any other closing thoughts before we wrap up round 78 here?
Oh goodness, I don't think so. How about you?
I mean, I'm pretty much good, but yeah, I don't know. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We all need to get used to having remote shows for the foreseeable future, especially as we'll be moving in August down to the Nashville
Yeah,
area.
that's been fun.
So well, we hopefully will have the opportunity to have at least one more in-person brouhaha at some point.
We will
But-
see, but with Wisconsin's local stay-at-home order being extended now into the end of May, that may or may not be a pipe dream. We'll see.
Nice pun.
Eh?
May or may not be.
Oh, haha.
Oh,
Okay, I get
jeez.
it. I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, jeez.
I've been really good at catching all these dad jokes lately, so
Oh,
there you go.
Fair enough, I guess.
Catch the ones that aren't even there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'll shut up.
Well, with that being said, then, thank you very much, everybody, for watching and or listening and or joining us tonight. I'm MrBond.
I am Tormod.
I'm Vlad.
We'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.